Hi, everybody, John Cena here, and welcome to FunkQuest Season 5, Semi-Final 2. One of these people is going to the grand final of Season 5, and you can decide who. So without further delay, Carmel, tell us where you're dialing in from.
I'm from Sheffield in the UK.
Hooray. You're a sheriff, and the sheriff is somebody that we can advance because a winning funkster is unable or unwilling or can't be bothered or has got coronavirus or something. So I want you to put a sheriff's hat on to get you to qualify your place.
I've got a teapot.
That'll do. You're in.
Is that any good?
You're in, yeah. What do you do in Sheffield, Carmel?
Anything I can get away with, especially if it's creative.
Good. Bobby, tell us where you're dialing in from.
I am dialing in from New York City.
Excellent.
In the United States.
And what do you get away with?
A lot. I'm a multi-hyphenated artist, I like to call myself. I do a little bit of everything, but primarily I train acrobats for Broadway shows, rock concerts, and cruise ships. And I'm also a stand-up comic, actor, dancer, singer, author, whatever I can do creatively.
Everything. Good episode, this. And I'm pretty sure this could have been a final in other series. Previously, we learned that Carmel reads books to children in hospital, which is funky, and Bobby returned to doing all kinds of circus, spinning about and feeling sick after a hip replacement, so that's funky also. We also have assistant guest head funkster, Vicky Wouchet. Vicky, where are you dialing in from?
I'm dialing in from Surrey in the UK.
That's down from us, isn't it?
Down from you, yes, down the posh end.
Vicky, what do you do?
Well, as little as possible. I'm a wealth strategist. I spend my time telling people how important their time is and then spend my time helping them make more money.
Excellent. So let's get on with the show. We do ladies first here. So Carmel, you can pick some surfboards, some pumpkin thingies, a pen and a phone tablet thing, or a gazebo.
Oh, I think the thing is,
how do you take losing?
I'm not that bothered about losing. I'm not very competitive. So when I'm playing games, I'm always kind of trying to work out how it works and how you win. Mm-hmm. I'm not that bothered about winning because I know what I'm good at. If I don't win, I'm kind of okay with that.
What about things like Monopoly and stuff like that, where there's only one winner? Do you not bother with all stuff like that?
When I was a kid, Christmas Day, we played Monopoly, and it was the biggest argument of the year about who'd won the Monopoly. But now I'm kind of not bothered. I'm like, if you want my houses, you can have them. Have a hotel. It's fine by me.
Oh my God, that's such an alien concept to me. I might be sitting there in the middle of the game going, I wonder how this game works, but only in order that I can win. And I could probably beat both of you at a competition you didn't even know you were in. And there's another variation on that called the game of life, where you accidentally get children and divorced and buy cars, as well as having to run around and buy houses and have hotels.
Bobby, question 1. You can pick a surfboard, a pen and a phone, or a gazebo.
Actually, I've spent a lot of time in gazebos because I'm a wedding officiant, so I'm going to go with the gazebo.
Good question. Where were you on the 31st of December, 1999?
Bartending.
Yeah.
At a bar called the Townhouse, and there was a drag show, and the lead drag queen was called Aunt Acid, and I actually sang at the piano bar that night, and I made tons of money that night. So Vicky would be really happy with me. And then I walked home because I lived 2 blocks from the bar.
What time did you leave on the 1st of January?
Probably around 5 a.m. when we closed the bar. But also on January 1st that year, I left to go on tour with a show. So I was on the road as well.
Where were you, Vicky?
I was in America. We went to Florida. And so on the 31st of December, we were in Tampa, and we went to Tampa's New Year festivals for the millennium. And then probably just about the same time Bobby was walking home, we were sitting on the beach collecting sand dollars. So they're the skeletons of little sea creatures that are, little round white things looking, very thin. And they've got this sort of like little 5 symbols, star-shaped legs on there. So that's what we were doing, watching the sunrise.
I would say, Vicky, that you've been on the show too many times because I'm pretty sure you've had this question before. Now, we've got thousands and thousands of these, and the chances of you getting it again, I don't know what they are, but I'm sure you've had it. Carmel, a Jeep, a fish, some world dolls, or some red shoes?
Oh, the fish, please.
Fish. Where can you see the best views?
Oh, well, top of the Loxley Valley is pretty good.
Yeah? Looking down
Above High Bradfield, there's an edge there, which, if you're not from around here, is what you might call a cliff. And there's a bench on the top of the edge, and you look and you can see the whole of Derbyshire in front of you, the reservoirs and Boots Folly in the distance. And I was up there once, and it was springtime, and there was a big, I don't know whether it was a hawk or a kestrel or some bird of prey, and I was obviously too near to its nest, and it actually came down swooping over my head about a foot above me, and I had to leave because this bird was attacking me.
So where is that? I know what's the pub called at High Bradfield? Is it the Horns?
Yeah, so you just go up, don't turn in that little cobbled street, go right up the hill, and you go, down the dip and over that lump and past that gate, and then there's that odd wall, and then there's like that muddy bit, and you park up on the left by the stile, and it's there.
I think even Bobby and I could find it by those directions.
Well, I wouldn't say directions, I only give directions by pubs and betting shops, but it's pretty difficult to do in Bradfield. There's nothing there. Bobby, question two, a Jeep, some world dolls, or some red shoes?
I'm obsessed with Wizard of Oz, so I'm going with the red shoes.
Red shoes, good question for you, this. What makes you stop scrolling?
And I usually do read friends' posts when somebody's in distress. I usually read it to see if I can do anything to help them. But depending on which app I'm scrolling through. Usually if it's got something about the photo catches my eye, if it's theatrical or if it's circus based, but for the most part I read posts from my friends because everyone's been having a rough 2 years, so I check in with people. I
suppose the trapeze community is like any other community online, right? You find each other dead easy.
Absolutely. I mean, the circus world is quite small in New York City. Even though I was one of the founders of the circus world in New York, when I started, there were 6 acrobats in the 1980s, and now there's about 6,000. So everybody kind of knows everybody.
Vicky, I bet you can do trapeze kind of stuff, can't you?
When I was a child, I spent a lot of time in the playground hanging upside down. Remember climbing frames? They had these like ladders that went this way, and then they did a horizontal ladder, which was designed to break children's bones.
They're probably illegal now.
Yeah, they will be illegal now. That, and there's like so much spongy stuff underneath them, you just bounce. But hanging upside down, and then because obviously girls are made to wear skirts, you couldn't hold on, so you hang upside down and you hold your skirts up, so the boys, like you're holding your skirt that way up, which is really towards your knees, so that the boys can't see your knickers. Yeah.
Let's move on. No, but move on. Carmel, question 3. A fruit basket, a violin player, some lasagna, or some wind turbines?
Wind turbines, please.
Wind turbines. When did you last get stuck in a queue?
I can kind of hardly remember queuing, which is a bit sad. I quite like that thing when you're in a queue and you kind of get talking to people that you don't know next to you in the queue, and you have a chat. I am struggling to remember a queue. Do you know there's a camp I used to go on where 400 of us used to go and camp in the field, and we used to queue up to get dinner, and it used to be from one end of the field like the other 400 people coming for dinner.
Was it cold when you got there?
No, it was fantastic. How they did it, like in a tent, cooking for 400 people, who knows?
During COVID, we couldn't get into our supermarkets. We used to have to queue for 2 hours waiting to get in. It was that bad because I'm in Queens, New York, which is where the outbreak started. So they only allowed 10 people in the supermarket at a time. So we were there for 2 to 3 hours waiting to get into the supermarket. It's funny that Carmel mentions camping. I go to Burning Man. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a big festival in the Nevada desert. And I actually run the kitchen sometimes. And I do about 300 meals a day, about 178 people each from a tent. And I know exactly how to cook in a tent.
Excellent. Well, we'll have an episode about that. How to feed 400 people. Bobby, question 3. You can pick a fruit basket, a violin player, or some lasagna.
Well, I am part Sicilian, and so I love lasagna, and I wrote a cookbook, so lasagna it is.
Lasagna. When did you last go behind the scenes somewhere?
Well, I'm lucky enough to work in the Broadway world, and before the pandemic, I got to go backstage on several shows, and one of my favorites is the Mrs. Doubtfire musical, which is on Broadway now.
Who's the star of Mrs. Doubtfire at the moment?
His name is Rob McClure, and I actually have history with him. This you can't see it. That is the Chaplin playbill from Broadway. I taught him how to walk a tightrope. That's how I got to meet him.
Wow.
So yeah, and he's an amazing actor playing Mrs. Doubtfire. And if you know anything about the movie or the story, it's basically the movie on stage musicalized, but the quick changes are absolutely magnificent, from him going from just being in one scene and then in the next scene he's Mrs. Doubtfire.
From being the gent to from being the dad to being Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yep. It's incredible. So.
How long would it take you to teach me and Carmel and Vicky how to do walk the tightrope?
I usually take about 2 weeks to get people solo across the wire, and it doesn't take that long to find your set, because you're always falling. That's the key. So it's how you slow down your heart rate and slow down your balance to stay on that small space. It was actually the easiest thing I learned in the circus world. I had an injury and I couldn't perform on trapeze. So one of the Mongolian horse riders taught me on a low tight wire how to walk tight wire.
We've never, tightrope walking and Mongolian horses has never ever cropped up on the show ever in the history of ever. Just so you know. So first there, Carmel, you can pick a husky dog, a Route 66 sign, some daisies, or a samurai man.
Daisies.
Daisies. Which animal should gain the power of speech?
Oh, teddy bears, I should think.
Teddy bears.
Yeah, that would be really good. I actually have a troupe of flying teddy bears that I perform with. I can tell that they love it. You know, you just get this feel that they love flying. But I'd love to hear them talk about performing with me. I think, you know, to know what they really feel about being in the audience would be fantastic.
You really want to know that?
Really.
Bizarrely, last night we're in the middle of a build and we went home for a date night, and we sat on our cramped bed in front of the TV with holes in the wall, and we wanted to watch something on Sky. Obviously, there are other channels available. The cat decided that it needed to sit on the Sky box, which is obviously warm, right in front of the TV so that we couldn't watch. So we mimicked with me telling the cat off, and Bob, my other half, was the cat replying to me while I was trying to tell the cat off. So I think cats for me.
Bobby, question 4. Husky dog, Route 66, or a samurai?
I'm going to go with the dog. I love dogs.
Dog. When does time pass slowly for you?
When I want it to go fast. Every single time I'm like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Am I ready to, can we move forward? That's always when it's like creeping along, or when you're trying to get out of work and you really want to get to that end zone. And it's like, whenever I want it to go fast, it won't.
Are you one of those people, when you're doing some kind of creative or theatre type thing, that insists that everybody goes through it again? Is that you?
Unfortunately, I'm the king of let's do it one more time. One more time. I always say one more time for Uncle Bobby. Usually, if they've made a mistake, they fix it in that last go. And that's been a learning thing for me in my own craft. From doing stand-up comedy to acting to even circus, that one more push is usually the one that gets you to the finish line, and it gets you the result you're looking for. Sometimes you're so in it that you can't separate the two, and you're ready to leave, so you're not focused. And then that one last time is when everything clicks.
One more. Just one more.
Yeah.
If everybody got it right on the first go that Bobby was talking about, they wouldn't have to keep going. And it's Bobby that's causing time to go slowly because he's making everybody do it again. And if they could just get it right first time, then it wouldn't go so slowly for Bobby.
I bet Bobby's pretty good at motivating people when he puts his mind to it. I'm just having a quick guess that he's...
You don't hang from the ceiling and get that at the first go.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Question 5, Carmel, a cityscape, a backgammon board, a lorry, or the Statue of Liberty?
The lorry.
Lorry. What cliche winds you up the most?
I don't know, like about a cliche, like, but there is
Like?
just like some words.
Yeah,
that are like,
kind of thing like kind of thing like. Yeah. Have we said anything yet? Nobody said anything yet.
Well, I think like it's like like if you like that's great.
So okay, in terms of kids' books, all right, what's the cliches what we should look out for and lob that book in the bin if we're reading books to our kids or grandkids or whatever?
Do you know, I was asked to sort out a library once, and it was all donated books, and I found this one book that was so bad, I'm going to read it to you. I was told to put it in the bin, but I was so bad I kept it.
Exhibit
and it says, I can be quiet.
Yeah.
I can be quiet when Daddy tells me. I can be quiet when it's bedtime. I can be quiet when I'm out and about. I can be quiet when everyone else is quiet. I can be quiet when Mummy is talking. I can be quiet when I'm eating.
Well, that's it.
And that's it. And I'm waiting for the page when it goes, but now I can make a big noise and be a child. So I'm not even going to dare tell you who published it. I might get into trouble. But that is my worst children's book ever.
I think that's the children's book of my childhood.
Well, being quiet.
Little girls should be seen and not heard. That's a horrendous cliche, isn't it?
I suppose it is, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want any more of that. No. Well, occasionally we do, but actually, really, we don't.
Well, I think sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. Just personal judgment.
Tell the Kardashians to shut up.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Question 5: a cityscape, a backgammon board, or the Statue of Liberty?
Lady Liberty.
So, Statue of Liberty.
What needs to be modernized? I think people's thought process. There's too many people who think backwards and not progressive. Too many people who don't move with the times.
How do we do that apart from getting everybody to listen to FunkQuest?
To be a little controversial, I saw something on Facebook today when I was scrolling as a kickback to one of the other ones, and it said John D. Rockefeller set up the education system, and his quote was, "We don't need thinkers, we need workers."
That's a horrible thought,
isn't it?
It's absolutely disgusting. We need,
and if we've had all of these years just trying to create little worker ants, maybe that's why we're in the situation. We need more people, and of all ages, but particularly young people, to think.
I come from a very poor family and a very poor part of the country. I'm one of the first and only to go to college, one of the first and only to move away from the original settlement in Pennsylvania. And I chose to make that decision to go to college to further my education. I had to force people to allow me. My grandmother was like, "Why are you going to college? What are you doing? You're wasting money." My mother, my father. These were people that out of the post-World War II era, it's part of the way we instill fear in people to stay pushed down. And that's why we need more thinkers. We need more people, because if there were more thinkers in the world, people would know how to navigate this kind of a country and this world.
We need more. Everybody listens to the show. It should be compulsory, like North Korea style, that everybody listens to the show once a week. They get their weekly dose of funk. Anyways, one of these ladies or gents is going through to the final. Vicky, you can't go through.
No.
To send one of these funksters to the next round, follow the link in the description to the episode page on FunkyThinkers.com and comment who you want to win. You can play FunkQuest yourself after you leave your vote. Do not vote on Spreaker or YouTube or iHeartRadio or any other platforms you might be listening on, because these votes will not be counted. Carmel, how can we find out more about you?
You can look me up on Facebook, Carmel Page.
Yeah, we'll not scroll anywhere at all. We'll just read everything, photographs included. Bobby, how can we find out more about you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Bobby Hedglin-Taylor and at Escape to Ravioli Mountain. That's the name of my cookbook. And also on Amazon, you can buy my book. Bleep My Mama Says. That's my mom.
Anyway, so we'll see one of you in the grand final of season 5. Vicky, thank you so much for your input. How can we contact you and find out more about you?
So I'm on all social, and if you can spell my name, VICKIWUSCHE, Vicky Boucher, you can find me and join my podcast, A Wealthy Life.
Ladies and gents, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see you again. Thanks so much, and take care.